Stop whatever you're doing right now, because I'm about to uncover a truth so unsettling that once you hear it, you'll never be able to live the same way again. Almost everyone you know, neighbors, colleagues, maybe even you, will leave this world without ever having lived one single day that truly belonged to them. They'll die carrying someone else's expectations, someone else's definition of success, someone else's version of life. And if you happen to be watching this video at some ungodly hour, restless in bed, replaying every decision that led you here, then consider this your wake-up call. This moment could be the turning point of your entire existence. Picture this: the stranger across from you on the train, your teammate at work, or maybe the reflection in your own mirror, living out a script handed down by invisible forces while the fire inside them quietly fades. The alarm clock ringing each morning wasn't set by you. Not really. It was set by the demands of a system that profits off your obedience. The rules you follow at work and in society weren't written for your fulfillment. They were crafted to ensure your compliance. And every night, when your head hits the pillow, there's that gnawing emptiness. Because deep down, you know you've spent another 24 hours pretending to be who others expect instead of who you truly are. But here's the revelation most never stumble upon. 5 centuries ago, a man whispered a dangerous truth into the world. His words became so feared, so powerful, that his name is still synonymous with ruthless mastery. Machiavelli wasn't writing instruction manuals for corporate boardrooms. He was exposing a blueprint to seize personal power, to escape the invisible chains society locks around you from birth. His book wasn't just about politics. It was about carving out your own throne in a world built to keep you bowing. In the next half hour, I'll show you why conformity is slowly suffocating your potential, how solitude can become your sharpest weapon, and the exact strategy to create a life so authentic that others can't help but follow your lead. But let me caution you, once you hear this, you can't unknow it. You'll never see your routines, your relationships, your choices in the same light again. The question is, are you ready to break free from the illusion? If so, write this in your mind or even in the comments. I choose my path. Let's start with the first uncomfortable truth, the myth of conformity. From the moment you enter this world, invisible hands begin molding you into a shape that benefits them, not you. The pattern is drilled into us. Study hard, secure a stable career, marry, purchase the house, raise children, retire, then die. Everyone is handed this one-size-fits-all script and told it's the road to happiness. But here's the bitter reality. They never designed that path for your joy. It's meant to keep society orderly, predictable, and manageable. Your dreams? Irrelevant. Your unique calling? Ignored. Every day you unconsciously give away your freedom. The time you wake is dictated by employers. The clothes you choose are shaped by unspoken rules about appearance. The food you eat is pushed by marketers. Even the dreams you chase are sanitized through the filters of what others consider realistic. This is not choice. It's domestication disguised as freedom. Think about the system that raised you. School didn't reward independent thought. It rewarded sitting quietly, asking permission, following directions. Then the workplace reinforced that same obedience with rules, schedules, and reviews designed not to unleash your genius, but to measure how well you comply. In your social groups, they police you with gossip, subtle pressure, and little rewards for staying normal. The result is an army of people alive in body, but hollow in spirit, shadows of who they could be, moving through life like well-trained actors in someone else's play. Here's the tragedy. Most never notice. They think their dissatisfaction is caused by lack of money, the wrong relationship, or the wrong city. They never realize the cage itself is the problem. They spend their years optimizing someone else's game plan rather than creating their own. And when they finally collapse from exhaustion, they wonder why nothing ever felt complete. Fulfillment isn't hidden in promotions, bigger houses, or society's checklist. It's found in breaking away from the blueprint and daring to honor what feels undeniably true within you, even when that truth offends, disappoints, or confuses others. That's why the affirmation here is this: my path matters. Now, here's the second truth. Real freedom doesn't mean cutting yourself off from the world or burning every bridge behind you. That's not strength. That's loneliness. True liberation comes from mastering self-reliance while still engaging meaningfully with others. Most people confuse independence with isolation, but strategic independence is something entirely different. It's not about running from people. It's about standing in such unshakable wholeness that you no longer need their approval. And because of that, your presence carries more weight. When you're self-reliant, your interactions transform. You no longer chase validation. You create value. You don't scramble to fit in. You naturally stand out. You're not following. You're leading. Picture a boardroom where everyone nods blindly at a flawed idea. The average person either stays quiet to keep the peace or blurts something out in desperation. But the self-reliant person, they've already done their research, sharpened their analysis, and built their conviction. When they speak, it's not for attention, it's because they know the ground they stand on. That authority commands respect in a way conformity never could. Self-reliance means curating your own information instead of swallowing the noise everyone else consumes. It means crafting your own definition of success rather than borrowing society's hollow metrics. It means having financial freedom so you can walk away when your integrity is on the line. It means being emotionally resilient so you don't collapse the moment someone disapproves. And it means cultivating curiosity so you can think for yourself instead of parroting what's trending. Machiavelli once remarked, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you truly are." That's the essence of self-reliance. Your core remains solid even when the surface shifts. This independence doesn't weaken connection, it strengthens it. When you bring unique perspective, you make collaboration richer. When you stand firmly in your truth, people recognize your authenticity and gravitate toward it. Look at history's great innovators, Jobs, Oprah, Musk, and countless others. They didn't climb to the top by mimicking what was already out there. They saw the world through their own lens and had the courage to follow it until others couldn't ignore them. The paradox of leadership is this: the more fearless you are in standing alone, the more others will gather behind you. The moment you stop begging for acceptance is the moment true influence begins. In negotiation, business, or even relationships, this is the golden key. When you don't need it, you gain leverage. When you're willing to walk away, people lean closer. When you no longer crave approval, approval comes uninvited. So remember this affirmation: I attract alignment. Now we arrive at the third principle, the art of calculated risk. Most people treat risk like a plague. They avoid it at all costs, convinced that safety equals survival. But here's the paradox: the greatest danger is the absence of risk. Every leap forward in human history, every invention, every breakthrough, every revolution came from someone who stepped into the unknown while everyone else clung to comfort. But don't mistake this for reckless gambling. The powerful don't leap blindly. They study, prepare, calculate, then act. Reckless people hope. Strategic risk takers plan. The fear of risk is, at its core, the fear of responsibility. If you stick to the safe path, you can always blame the system, your parents, or bad luck. But the moment you take a real risk, you own the outcome. Win or lose, the story is yours. And most people are terrified of carrying that kind of accountability. That's why they hide behind mediocrity. Machiavelli once warned that it is safer to be feared than loved, not because cruelty is admirable, but because respect built on decisiveness is sturdier than affection built on weakness. People trust those who dare to act with conviction, even when the outcome is uncertain. Calculated risks don't always yield instant success, but they always teach. Every setback is data. Every failure is a stepping stone. Every misstep is education that no classroom or textbook could ever provide. Ask yourself, what's the absolute worst that could happen if you stop playing small and chase what your soul actually longs for? Really think about it. Most of our imagined disasters are exaggerated shadows. Financial ruin? You're already financially tethered to a system that undervalues your worth. Social rejection? You're already surrounded by people who only know a filtered version of you. Failure? You're already failing if you spend your life betraying your own potential. On the flip side, what's the cost of not taking risks? A lifetime of what ifs, a slow erosion of spirit, the unbearable regret of realizing too late that safety was the most dangerous choice of all. You see, the people who truly change their lives aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall, get up, and carry the scars as proof that they lived boldly. One day, you will face the final chapter of your life. And in that moment, the most painful realization won't be death itself. It will be knowing that you never truly lived. You'll look back and see how carefully you played it safe, how tightly you clung to comfort, and how often you buried your real desires beneath the weight of expectations. You'll realize your potential was left unexplored, your passions muted, and your dreams locked away, like a song you carried in your chest but never allowed the world to hear. That's the tragedy most people never escape. Not because they lacked talent, not because they lacked opportunities, but because they lacked the courage to step into uncertainty. The wisdom of Machiavelli reminds us that anticipating hardship is not the mindset of a pessimist, it's the mindset of a strategist. To see obstacles before they arrive is not to live in fear, but to prepare yourself with armor so strong that you move forward with boldness instead of hesitation. When you anticipate storms, you do not cower. You sharpen your sails, you reinforce your ship, and you prepare to command the waters. That's how you move into the unknown with unshakable confidence. So let's break this down into a framework you can actually use to take intelligent risks instead of drifting through a safe but empty existence. The first step is absolute clarity. You cannot wander vaguely and expect to end up somewhere meaningful. A blurred vision produces nothing but blurred results. Define exactly what you want and understand why it matters at the deepest level. Ask yourself, what is the outcome I seek? And why does my soul hunger for it? Without a clear vision, you'll crumble the moment adversity tests you. But when your purpose is precise and personal, you can endure storms because you know what you're fighting for. Next, confront the fears that paralyze you. Write them out in detail. What risks truly exist in chasing your vision? Be specific, name them, measure their likelihood, strip them of their mystery. Fear is often nothing more than a shadow magnified in your imagination. When you look at it under the light of reason, it shrinks. You'll find that many of the monsters that terrify you are illusions. The ones that remain, real risks, can be prepared for. Preparation brings us to the third principle, contingency. Never walk into the battlefield of life with only one plan. Have your alternatives. If plan A crumbles, let plan B rise. If plan B collapses, allow plan C to catch your fall. Creating backup strategies doesn't mean you lack faith in yourself. It means you are wise enough to respect the unpredictability of the world. And this very adaptability gives you the edge most people lack. They stumble at the first setback. You, on the other hand, pivot, regroup, and advance. Fourth, don't leap off a cliff when you can climb in steps. Begin small. Test the waters. Build momentum gradually. Every calculated risk you take sharpens your ability, grows your resilience, and strengthens your confidence. Minor victories are not insignificant. They are the foundation that prepares you for colossal victories. Too many people wait for the perfect moment to risk everything. But the truth is, consistent small risks compound into radical transformation. The fifth step is accountability through time and measurement. Set a timeline. Define your milestones. Establish the markers that tell you whether you're moving closer or drifting further. Without timelines, you either abandon too soon or cling too long to things that no longer serve you. Metrics protect you from self-deception and force you to evaluate progress with honesty. And finally, the most crucial step, action. Endless analysis is simply procrastination wearing a mask of productivity. You can spend years planning, theorizing, researching, and waiting, but nothing shifts until you move. Perfect certainty is a lie. Perfect timing will never arrive. The battlefield belongs not to the thinker alone, but to the one who acts. Remember this, the enemy of greatness is not failure, it's stagnation. The person who never risks, never stumbles, but they also never rise. The individual who avoids uncertainty never suffers great defeat, but they also never taste true victory. Risk is not the villain. Mediocrity is. The unknown is not your danger. The suffocating safety of the familiar is what should terrify you. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I embrace the unknown. Now let's go deeper into the territory most people never dare to enter. Designing your own path. To live authentically doesn't mean burning down every structure around you. It means consciously choosing what aligns with your vision and discarding what chains you to mediocrity. The first requirement is brutal honesty. Ask yourself, not what you should want, but what you truly desire. Strip away the voices of your parents, society, culture, and peers. If failure was impossible, what would you chase? If no one was watching, what would you create? What fills your chest with fire? The reason this step is so difficult is because most of us have been trained since childhood to silence those inner answers. We've been told to be realistic, to lower our expectations, to pursue stability over passion. So sometimes, rediscovering what you want requires returning to who you were before the world conditioned you. Remember the sparks that ignited you as a child. They are clues to your authentic self. Once you've glimpsed that authentic vision, don't expect it to remain static. It will evolve as you evolve. The destination may shift, but the compass, the core of what makes you feel alive, remains. Machiavelli once wrote, "The fox is needed to recognize traps, the lion to scare away wolves. To forge your path, you must be both, cunning enough to see deception and danger, and bold enough to face them head on." This dual nature is the essence of a true strategist. Now let's chart your map step by step. Conduct a personal audit. Examine every corner of your current life. Which parts align with your authentic vision? Which parts are remnants of fear, habit, or pressure from others? Look at your routines. Which activities energize you, and which drain the life from you? Which relationships nurture your growth, and which ones suffocate your spirit? Ruthless honesty here is non-negotiable. You cannot navigate forward if you refuse to admit where you are. Then identify your arsenal, your strengths, your passions, your values. Strength is not only technical skill, it's also personality, creativity, resilience, perspective. Passions are not frivolous hobbies. They are the obsessions that captivate your mind when nobody forces you to think about them. Values are not abstract ideals. They are the boundaries you refuse to cross, the principles you bleed for. Align these three elements, and you will uncover a direction no one else can replicate. From there, start small, but be consistent. Daily actions matter more than grand gestures. 30 minutes invested in your vision each morning compounds into transformation over years. One page a day becomes a book. One conversation a week becomes a network. One small project becomes a movement. Consistency builds empires. And don't measure your success by society's yardstick. Wealth, titles, and applause may impress others, but do they satisfy you? Define success on your terms. It may be freedom of time, impact on others, or the simple joy of waking up energized instead of numb. Create your own scoreboard. Track your alignment with your values. Evaluate your progress toward your vision. Measure your satisfaction honestly. Expect resistance. When you step outside the script, others will notice. Some will ridicule you. Others will predict your downfall. Many will pressure you to return to the safe path, not because they want the best for you, but because your independence highlights their own chains. Their criticism is not truth, it's projection. Recognize it for what it is. And while you may lose certain relationships, you'll gain others, mentors, allies, and communities who understand your vision and push you higher. Above all, trust your instincts. You have access to information about yourself no one else can see. Your inner compass. Your subconscious processes patterns faster than logic ever can. When something feels right, when something feels wrong, pay attention. Intuition is not irrational. It is compressed wisdom. Let's step back and see the bigger picture. You've now seen the trap of conformity, the strength of self-reliance, the necessity of calculated risk, and the blueprint for charting your unique course. But knowledge without execution is worthless. You can consume endless videos, attend seminars, and read books until your shelves collapse. But until you take that first bold step, your life will remain unchanged. The world doesn't need another copy. It doesn't need you to be a diluted version of someone else. What it needs is you, your perspective, your vision, your originality. Every breakthrough in history came from people who refused to bow to conformity. Every great contribution came from those who trusted their instincts enough to walk alone. Your throne isn't a distant promise. It's not hidden in some secret chamber. It is here, now, waiting for you the moment you decide to claim it. The instant you stop following and start leading. The moment you place your trust in yourself over the approval of the crowd. The question isn't, can you? The answer is already yes. The real question is, will you? Will you embrace the discomfort of growth? Will you risk the uncertainty of the unknown? Will you disappoint others to finally honor yourself? Every day you postpone is another day of living someone else's story. Every excuse you craft is another chain binding your potential. Every compromise you make for safety is a vote against your greatness. Start today. No matter how small, begin. Send that message. Make that call. Draft that page. Launch that idea. Have that difficult conversation. Take that first step into the world you were meant to create, because your future self is waiting for you on the other side of courage. And remember this, courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite fear. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need all the answers. You don't need anyone's permission. You only need to begin. So I'll leave you with this final affirmation. My time is now.